I'll get to that in a second. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions, rather than godly edifying which is in faith. So do. Titus says, but avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, arguments, and quarrels about the law, because these things are pointless and worthless. So just know I'm coming from a place where it's commanded to not constantly quabble about who has Jew blood. I look like a conquering Viking, bear in mind. We're going to take a look at Nick Fuentes' dad's face. And by the way, this is not a doxing. Just Google Nick Fuentes' dad. Very common in the open information that anyone can find. At first I thought his dad was Eugene Levy or Mr. Potato Head. So let's take a quick look here. This is Eugene Levy. This is Nick Fuentes' dad. As you can see, Nick Fuentes' dad, oh, and by the way, Fuentes is a Sephardic Jew name. The name Fuentes has been identified by the Holy Office of the Catholic Church of Spain and other sources as a Sephardic name, Jewish. If you are interested in researching this aspect of Fuentes' family line, you can visit sephardim.com or nickfuentes.com. Okay, so as you can see here, judging by the face of Nick Fuentes' dad, Nick Fuentes is about as Gentile as a birch gold bagel. So just to put that to bed, and I'm not calling Nick Fuentes a Jew, because as commanded, you're not supposed to get obsessed with genealogies and pointless bloodline squabbles. None of this is new. None of this whole gene pride, genetic pride thing is new. It's mostly done by Jews. Just to let you guys know. So as we can see here, Nick Fuentes' father looks like a more feminine version of Eugene Levy. Why does this matter? Because he keeps calling me a Jew. Okay? Nick Fuentes is wearing baby boomer Ray-Bans next to what appears to be Mr. Potato Head with a bigger nose. Hey, why does it matter? Because he will not stop calling me a Jew. So there's something in psychology called projection, where he has his dad is a more feminine Eugene Levy character. And so what he does is he finds strong men like me, and he just keeps calling them Jews over and over and over again. And as we can see, Fuentes is a Jewish name from Spain. So now your leader, young, and I don't want to be your leader. I'm not the leader of the young nationalist movement. That isn't, I will never do that. I wouldn't even be dog catcher. Fuentes' dad is from American Pie. Worse, he's more Jewish looking. Just know that it's a 21-year-old fellow living with his mommy and daddy, playing Xbox, eating snacks, having his mommy doing his laundry. His dad looks like a more Jewish Eugene Levy. And his last name's genealogy is, in fact, Jewish and from Spain, not Anglo-Saxon, Spanish Jew. So as you follow this young man into the heat of battle and say that every idea is from this young fella, just know you're being mocked. And again, am I calling Nick Fuentes a Jew? No, because according to Timothy, Titus, these things are absurd. Titus, avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, arguments, and quarrels about the law, because these things are pointless and worthless. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions rather than God. It's about faith. It's about faith in God through Jesus Christ. Nations matter. Family matters. People are tribal, yada, yada, but it's not a put down. And so I just wanted to put this to bed once and for all, because if my dad looked like Mr. Potato Head, I probably wouldn't be throwing arrows. Now, does it discredit Nick Fuentes that his dad is Jewish Mr. Potato Head? No. What discredits Nick Fuentes is that he's a liar. My dad is a gamma male. My dad has some things about him that I'm not very proud of, but I will tell you that, and I won't lie about it. Will I, Nick? Lies matter. And as Guns N' Roses entitled their album, Lies, Lies, Lies. So again, I will give you this advice and then we'll move on. But Nick Fuentes is an absurd joke. His father is a more Jewish... I can't even say it with a straight face. I mean, he's a Jew with Spanish blood, trying to say that he's an American nationalist and that I'm the Jew. A literal giant from Days of Lore. Amy, what do you think about all of this?
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, Jew is as Jew does. There is no Jew, like people, I'll show you why I have such a...
lactose intolerant.
Huh?
Are you being lactose intolerant?
Amy had my sidekick, Amy, my wife, just had a funny zinger. Am I being lactose intolerant because he's a milker? Good one, Aim.
Thanks. I've been about that since you started.
She's been working on that the whole time. So the point of all this is because I love making fun of Jewish behavior. And if you make it about DNA, you ruin the whole joke. I also like making fun of baby boomers. And now, like, okay, boomer cringe has kind of ruined it. So, you know, that's just what I have to say about that. Because the people that do the most amount of DNA condemnation, you will not be surprised, as you can see by Nick Fuentes here, is the Jews. Here we have a young Jew working for the Daily Wire. Pretty amazing. European Union is going to require political country of origin labeling for only 2 regions of the world, and both of them are in Israel. Okay? Josh Hammer says, Jew hatred is inherent in the European DNA. Now, we all know that this is insane and absurd, and it's because of Jewish behavior that Europeans are not the biggest fan of the guys who, for hundreds and hundreds of years, poison the old well, metaphorically and literally occasionally. So now that you see how stupid that is, coming from a Jew, apply it to Europeans and Americans doing that to the Jew. Do you now see how stupid that sounds? Do you see yet how dumb that is? Jew hatred is inherent in the European DNA. Well, no, it's more about the behavior. That they have a right to boycott goods from Israel because Israel is basically a slave state that has an open-air concentration camp for Palestinians. So when you then put the onus of responsibility not on the behavior or the faith of the man or the good deeds or horrible crimes, but on their mystical DNA, you know, the thing that the Jews pretty much invented, you sound ridiculous. So again, Nick Fuentes has been calling me a Jew now for a while, openly, privately, ankle biting. This is his dad. This is Eugene Levy. As you can see, Fuentes is a Sephardic name from Spain, according to the Catholic Church, and his dad is Mr. Potato Head, except more Jewish. So we'll put that to bed, and every time you hear him say that, just know that this is the reality of the situation. Isn't it like 6:30 a.m. out there? Did you have nightmares about the Jews? No, I have to catch a plane, and I don't miss my streams because I care about you people. Palestine is a made-up state. No one cares, Dan. Obviously, you're banned for life, but I just want you to know before, you realize you walked into the wrong saloon, partner, that no one ever cared. TPUSA event was hilarious last night. Yes. Nick is a verbal assault away from being a house whites. Well, I mean, we've been chipping away at Turning Point USA and Shapiro and all these people for so long that I took so much joy and gratitude when I first saw the Groypers doing it. And then when I realized that the whole point was to put it all on Nick and to make it Nick's thing, not the ideas, not the rise of logos of truth. No, now it's about Nick Fuentes, a Jewish fella who lives with his mommy and is real mad at the world. And so I will bash him into dust like I did David Hogg, because it's a very similar reaction I get from people that happened when I got kicked off Twitter for relentlessly and unyieldingly mocking David Hogg. I put jokes about David Hogg in 2 of my comedy specials. 2. Gun Control to David Hogg, the David Bowie special, And you don't think people said, he's living rent-free in your head, or you're obsessed, you're just jealous, you're just envious. These things don't stop me. Once you have Shylock Holmes' attention, me, I will not stop until you're dust. And Nicholas Fuentes has kicked the wrong bear. Are you heading to Flat Earth Conference? Yeah, that's why I'm up so early. I have to catch a flight. I've been up since 3:30 milking goats and whatnot. Well, Nick Fuentes is waiting for his mommy's for. Like when you breastfeed, it's a relief when the baby like relieves your pressure, your boobs, right? My wife's on the couch.
Yeah.
So do you think Nick Fuentes' mom like is just she never wanted to go through the struggle of having to feel that pressure?
Don't put me
All right, you don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that. The interview with E. Michael Jones was legendary. I love towards the end when Jones just looked puzzled and said, "How did this happen?" And they both just start laughing. Yeah, so many of I had that up at unauthorized.tv for subscribers only, but so many people wrote to me that they just wanted people to get that information that I just put it online for you guys. Because the unauthorized, like my newest special is only at unauthorized. Like I'm sticking with that. But the beauty of the unauthorized subscribers and supporters are they just want the info to get out there. So I was like, okay. BB Fuentes reminds me of a hyperactive kid that's been on a steady diet of Ritalin his whole life. Yeah, and he's Jewish, and he probably has an incestual relationship with his mother.